Are you ever playing a song and you feel completely disjointed and choppy as you're going through it because you're just not flowing from section to section? You just can't get into the fill and out of the fill smoothly. You can't go from verse to chorus and back smoothly. And you're constantly having those panic moments of, oh no, what's coming next? I can't remember. Oh, I think it's this. And everything's disjointed and sloppy. If that's you, you're in the right place today. What if you could instead smoothly flow through a song, going from part to part and groove to fill and back again effortlessly? Well, this is a critical skill, right? If you're going to sound like a pro drummer, if you're going to play with a band and really sound musical and professional, you have to be able to do this, and thankfully getting there is not that complicated, and hopefully today's exercise will show you that. I remember being at a church rehearsal when I think I was in college, and we were playing this Carrie Job song that was probably about 100 beats a minute. It was somewhat of an up-tempo song, and I felt that exact same thing of realizing I'm not sure if I'm playing this right, and I don't remember what part is next. Wait, is there a fill here? Wait, what fill happens here? And just that mass confusion of feeling overwhelmed by all the things going on in the song and feeling like I can't execute them. What was interesting is, in retrospect, two reasons why this was probably happening for me, and maybe this could be your two reasons as well. One, I had barely listened to the song. That's what I had to admit. I did not listen to the song enough to fully feel the flow of the song and just know what's coming. Two, I had barely paid attention to what the drum parts actually were. I basically listened through the song once and thought, I got this. You know, the cocky thing that you do when you're a young drummer and you just assume that you can get away with barely learning something. So those are the prerequisite things. If you thoroughly listen to a song a few times, then you're going to naturally remember what comes next, most likely. Also, if you really pay attention to the details of each drum part and you learn the verse part, the chorus part, the bridge part, then flowing between them is going to definitely get easier. So do those two things and you're going to be in way better shape. So those are the prerequisites, just the listening, the mental stuff. But today we're getting into something that I call the flexibility exercise that I think is going to help you out a lot with this. We're going to be on the kit, we're going to be playing and creating stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What we're going to do is use the flexibility exercise to improvise a made-up song on the fly, getting more confident and smooth transitioning between drum parts in a song. So between what we're doing today and you listening to the song you want to learn and paying attention to the individual grooves and parts in said song, all this is going to work together to get you much more effortlessly flowing through drum parts. So we're going to break down 5 steps to smoother transitions on the drums, and you're going to be sounding way better by the end of today. Let's do this. You can do it. Hey, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. I'm so glad you're hanging out today. I help self-taught beginner drummers know what to practice so that you can nail songs like we're talking about today and be the drummer that everybody wants in their band. What we're talking about today definitely goes along with that, and this is going to help you so much in just having more flow in your playing and just feeling more cohesive and connected and nailing these transitions so you're not so disjointed and in a constant panic when you're playing a song. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So 5 steps to smoother transitions on the drums with the flexibility exercise. So the reason I call this the flexibility exercise is because what we're doing is we're teaching ourselves to be flexible in our playing, where we're not just playing the same thing the whole way. A lot of students have told me that their struggle is defaulting to, let's say the main groove of the song is this. And they nail down that groove and they get it going and they're like, I feel good once I'm laying down the groove, but as soon as I have to change what I'm doing, or as soon as I have to go into a fill, then I'm in a panic. So maybe that's you. That's the big issue we're getting at today, that disjointedness, that inability to step out of your lane and do something else. This whole thing is going to help you out with this. It's going to help you be more flexible. So step 1, create 2 example grooves to practice this. So you can create your own. I'm going to make up a couple on the spot here. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to say groove number 1 is going to be our verse groove for our made-up song we're putting together. Groove number 2 is going to be our chorus groove. So how about groove number 1 is something nice and tight and simple. So we just have kick on 1 and then on the end of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. There's our verse groove. Hats are closed nice and tight. Now we're going to have a second groove. This will be our chorus groove. And this one will open up the hats and we'll add in a busier kick drum pattern like this. Boom, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, boom, boom, So we're taking our first groove and just adding some more kick drum notes to it and opening the hat. So our first groove is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now our chorus groove, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. So just a little busier and just opening it up so it's more driving and more hi-hat energy. So those are our two grooves. So we've picked our two different grooves. Now for step 2, we're going to practice going back and forth between them. If you've never practiced this before, this alone might be a game changer for you. So we're going to play 1 bar of groove 1 and then 1 bar of groove 2, just like this. Just like that. You can go a little slower if you want to. This basically our made-up song here is like mid-tempo, whatever tempo that is. But you can go slower if you need to get comfortable going back and forth between them. And remember, you don't even have to use mine. You can pick your own 2 grooves. You could even use an actual song for doing this, because honestly, that's even better. But let's keep going with this. So what we want to also do here in our step 2 is change from doing a measure of a groove and then a measure of the next groove to doing 2 measures of the first groove, then 2 measures of the next groove. So now it would go like this if we change to that. So 2 bars of each. Now what we also want to do is 4 bars of each. So we play groove number 1 4 times, groove number 2 4 times. And so on. So you get the idea. So what we're practicing is feeling the passage of time as well, because most songs are built of 4-bar phrases. If you can feel what 4 bars of playing something feels like without counting it, that's a really powerful skill. So first you can count it. It's okay to count to make sure, okay, this is what 4 times feels like. But once you learn what 2 times feels like and then 4 times feels like, there's no need to be counting it, because our brains are wired to feel the completion of 4 times or 8 times. And so you just naturally feel like you're reaching the end of something after 4 or 8 or 16. Those multiples of 4, 8, 16. There's something just very even and square about them. And so we can work to our natural expectations here. And if you learn to feel those, that makes a lot of this a lot easier. Now, step 3, we're going to pick a simple fill to do, and we're just going to practice our simple fill. So for the sake of simplicity, our fill is just going to be on beat 4, ka 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 ka. I just call it the ka 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 fill. For E and a, right left on the snare. So it would go like this. So you could practice just the fill by itself at first. Super simple, so just practice going or crash. But really, just go ahead and put it in the context of the groove. So use our first groove, our verse groove for this. And just loop that over and over again until this fill is comfortable. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be this fill. You could do something else. There's so many simple little beat 4 fills you can do, orchestrate differently. So you can get creative with this, do whatever you want. I picked a very simple one that's so easy to get going because your right hand keeps playing 8th notes, bum, 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 ga, 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 we're just throwing in some left-hand notes. And so there's no excuse for not being able to smoothly go back and forth here, because your right hand is just doing the same thing the whole time. If you can't do this smoothly, it's a mental thing. You have to remind yourself, hey, this is not as hard as I'm trying to make it. It's as simple as that's all that the right hand is doing, and the left hand's filling in the spaces. And honestly, if you're a beginner and you can get comfortable just doing that, that's a huge confidence booster, realizing, hey, I can play a simple beat 4 fill comfortably without losing the beat. And those simple beat 4 fills are in so many songs. And so if you learn that and you get comfortable just with simple little tiny fills, that's so empowering because you can use those all over the place. Now, step 4, we're going to use this fill. We're going to practice going back and forth between our two parts, our two grooves we've created, and playing the fill each time. So how about let's do 2 times each first. So we're going to play through groove number 1, the verse groove twice, fill at the end, and then the chorus groove twice, fill at the end, like this. And so on. So you could decide that your fill is going to be a blah, 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 but you could orchestrate it so many different ways. You know, there's just so many places you can move, and so get creative with it and know that it doesn't just have to be snare. There's a lot of ways you can orchestrate the same sticking pattern. So it doesn't have to be difficult. Keep this really simple. And so do that. Two bars of each. Practice going back and forth and ending each of your 2-bar phrases with the fill. Then do 4 times each, like we did in step 2. So verse groove 4 times, fill at the end. Chorus groove 4 times, fill at the end, like this. And so on. Do you feel how this is starting to feel like a song? Like it's starting to feel like we're playing a song. It's almost like you're tricking your brain into flowing effortlessly through a song. So if you've stuck with me, give yourself a pat on the back because this is really fun and really cool. You're doing great. We've got one more cool thing we're going to do though. At this point, hopefully you're feeling more flexible. You're feeling like you can switch back and forth between things. In other words, you could be playing one thing but thinking ahead to the next thing. So in a way, you're thinking about 2 things at once. And the more advanced you become as a drummer, the more you build coordination, the easier this gets. So now what we're going to do, step 5, we're going to build these drumming parts that we've created here into a song by adding a 3rd groove. So most songs, remember back at the beginning, I shared with you, okay, this was my Carrie Job fail, playing this Carrie Job song back in college. If you're a longtime church drummer, you probably know who I'm talking about. There are a lot of Carrie Job songs we played a long time ago. But you remember how, okay, I was struggling to get, I felt disjointed. I didn't remember which section was next, which part was next. And ultimately, I think it was happening because I didn't really listen to the song. I didn't really pay attention to what the drum parts were. Like total arrogant college kid fail of thinking, I got this, and then getting in there and realizing it. No, I don't have this. We've all been there. We've all made this mistake. So what we want to do at this point is make a mental note of what most song forms actually are. Like, what if you could expect a certain song form and therefore what you think is going to happen in the song is what actually happens? Most pop songs have a form of A, B, A, B, C, B. So that would be verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. So you've got, the verse of the song, the chorus of the song. You repeat that. Most songs go like that, where you got a verse and a chorus, and you do that again. Then there's something different. That's the bridge. The bridge is the different thing, whatever that might be. Then we go back into a big chorus at the end, and we're done. Maybe there's a guitar solo somewhere in the bridge. Usually a guitar solo can function as a bridge or just a different part. A bridge could be 2 bars long. It could be 16 bars long. It could be a lot of different stuff or just one thing. But you'll find that almost every song you learn has this form, where there's a verse and a chorus. We loop that twice. So A, B, then there's a bridge, that's our C section, and we're back into the chorus. So to complete our exercise here and turn this into a made-up song, what if we create a third groove? So let's make our third groove totally different. Our third groove could be like a tom groove, like a 4 on the floor tom groove. So suddenly, you know, we've been doing this boom, ba, boom, boom, ba. What if now we suddenly go to we just do something like that, 4 bars of that. So a few things that we can do to practice this. One, we can practice transitioning between either of the other 2 grooves into and out of this, or we could just insert this into our song form and we could say, all right, we have our verse groove, we have our chorus groove, now we have our bridge groove. So what if we do verse, chorus, bridge, chorus? Does that make sense? So let's first practice going from the chorus into just our, all we're doing is a 4 on the floor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8th notes on the floor tom. I'll add some embellishments, but at its core, that's all it is. That's our bridge part. So let's practice going from the chorus into the bridge and then back into the chorus. Here we go. And maybe we could shake up the chorus groove a little and go over to the ride. Do something even different and bigger for that final chorus. So you see how that's gonna flow. We're keeping it simple and we're just doing 4-bar sections. So if we put this whole thing together, our made-up song of simple little 4-bar sections, groove 1 for 4 bars, groove 2 for 4 bars, and repeat that, and then go to our bridge groove for 4 bars, back to our chorus groove for 4 bars. Here's what it would sound like. Here we go. And so that's how it might go. We could change the lengths of sections. We could say, let's do an 8-bar verse, an 8-bar chorus. Let's do just a 2-bar bridge. Let's do a longer bridge. You could definitely shake it up. But at that point, you see how, okay, we've just practiced going back and forth between 3 different things, playing a fill, leading us into each new section, and making mental notes of what is the big picture of this, what is the form, and what's coming next. If you can do that, nailing songs and song transitions is going to be so much more effortless for you. So to review, go through these 5 steps of the flexibility exercise. Teach yourself to seamlessly go back and forth between things. And you can do this exercise differently every day, making up different grooves, different parts. You can take them from a song. Let's say there's a song you're working on. Here's how you do this start to finish. Let's say there's this song that you're working on. Listen to the song a bunch so you can naturally feel how it goes. You're learning the melody. You're kind of just learning the lyrics, how to sing it in your head. And then pay attention to each individual part. Learn the verse part, learn the chorus part, learn the bridge part, and then apply them to this whole exercise here. Practice each one for 4 bars, going back and forth between them, add a fill, gradually build the song structure, and before you know it, you're able to play the song on the drums without listening to the song, which, by the way, that is a way to make sure you really know the song you're playing. If you're ever in doubt about, I feel like I'm not prepared enough to play at church this Sunday, maybe I'm not ready for this gig Saturday night, the best way to feel completely prepared is to be able to play the song on the drums without listening to the song. Like, hear the song in your head and play along. Just you and your drums, nothing going into your headphones, just playing the song. Once you can do that, that's when you know you have mastery over that song. And if you can do that, even if you can't quite do that, remember that you have the safety net on the gig of the singer singing and the band, around you. And so they will cue you into stuff. And so you don't even have to be able to get to that level of memorization to nail the song. You can still nail it when you're following cues of what's going on around you. But hey, hopefully this exercise is empowering and very helpful to you. So question for you as you go, what do you think was the issue holding you back with groove, fill, part, transitions? Do you know how to solve it now? My hope is that you do, that if you've stuck with me through this lesson, you've been paying attention, you know exactly how to solve it. So let me know in the comments. We can talk about it. What do you think was your issue? Was it not listening to the song enough? Was it not paying attention to actual parts or kick patterns? Or was it just not knowing how to practice physically doing this? My hope is that this has given you a lot of clarity and a lot of direction and really helps you with flowing through a song effortlessly, not feeling disjointed, and really feeling like a pro drummer so that you can be that drummer everybody wants to play with. So best of luck, happy practicing, have a lot of fun with this. Stay non-glamorous, know that you can do this. I'll see you on the next lesson.